Sonic Lab
TV.
Hello and welcome to another Sonic Lab. Today we're looking at a couple of things, and these are the new Monotrons from Korg. These are tiny, almost toy-like analog monophonic synthesizers. They come in two flavors. First of all, we've got the Monotron Delay, which features a single voice synth, basic one, and an analog delay, and the Monotron Duo, which features two oscillators and the filter from the legendary MS-20, or at least modelled. So, first thing to notice is they're on blister packs, so they've obviously been made for mass production. I can just imagine how many of these you could get on a little rack in a music shop. Maybe Korg are expecting to sell them by the 1,000. We'll see. Let's take a look at them. So let's start off with looking at the Monotron Duo. It's quite a familiar looking thing if you've got the Monotron. So what we have here is a two oscillator essentially version of the original Monotron. The switching allows you to go into VCO1 mode and modulate with VCO2. It allows you to set that as effectively becomes the LFO, or cross modulation, and VCO1 and 2, which allows you to separately set the pitch of VCO2 relative to VCO1. We've also got the cutoff and resonance of filter of the same MS-20 modelled filter, front panel speaker, and the usual ribbon keyboard that you find on the Monotron as well. Connections, if we go to there, we've got headphone out on mini jack, auxiliary in for processing via the filter, volume control, and this red button here, which is actually one of the biggest and most interesting changes. What this does is switch on quantizing for this keyboard, which I think is great, because that was one of the big problems I always found with these ribbon controllers. They're so tiny, and even with my tiny fingers I can't play anything worth a hoot, to be honest. But cycling through this, the sets of this button goes chromatic, major scale, minor scale, and continuously variable. So that makes it much more playable straight away. Just to let you know, two AAA batteries included with the Monotron. And let's take a look now at the Monotron Delay. This is kind of funky. It's got a sort of space retro look to it. This is a different beast. This switching here is the shape of the LFO. This is the speed of the LFO, the depth of the LFO. Then we've got cutoff frequency, which is again apparently the same MS-20 modelled filter but without the resonance. Delay time and delay feedback. There's the same speaker and the same ribbon keyboard, though it's in reverse. Connections, headphone out or line out, auxiliary in, which is great because you can process external sounds through the delay and the filter, volume control, and then this little sort of micro Phillips head thing, which allows you to change the shape of the LFO wave. So I've just plugged my Monotron Duo into a mixer channel on my modular, coming straight out and going into the door. This is so I can see pretty much what the waveform is, and as you can see, it's a sort of, well, I'm not quite sure what it is. It looks like a cross between a sine, a sawtooth, and a square, so not necessarily the cleanest wave. So let's take a listen to it. This is in chromatic mode. VCO tune right down. Major mode. Minor. And just continuously variable. We'll go back to major. Tune this up. It's definitely much more playable with this keyboard quantizing, there's no doubt about it. So we'll just take a look, we're bringing some cross mod. Looks like it's kind of square. Goes right up into the audio spectrum. It's supposed to be taken from the monopoly, though I've got a monopoly and I don't recognise it, but it's still a useful synthesis function. We should also take a listen at the filter. It's the same filter as the Monotron, modelled on the MS-20, and it really does break up and scream. So you've got that nice characteristic. We go into VCO1 and 2 mode now. I'll just take... Now we can tune an interval of VCO2, which then tracks the keyboard and maintains the interval between the two VCOs, so you can create a sort of Then if we bring the cross mod in, it seems to be just doing the same sort of pitch mod, but you can get some really sort of quite interesting and nice sounds. I mean, you know, it's a very basic synthesizer, but the fact that you can quantize the keyboard means that finally you can actually play some meaningful pitched lines for a change. One more thing to mention, the auxiliary input takes an external signal and goes in via the VCF, so you've got access to this filter via an external source. Right, so the first thing to notice is the keyboard really bears no relationship whatsoever to pitch. It's just all the width of the entire oscillator, so right down there to right up there. Bit pointless having it like that, but it's not really designed for that, it's more for effect. So first of all, let's get a LFO going. Square mode, speed, goes right up into audio. And we've also got triangle. Right, just wait a quick listen to the filter. Pretty nice too. Where it really gets fun though, to be honest, is the feedback and the delay. Reminds me of my old £10 analog guitar pedal. Noisy, degenerative, goes from very fast to about, sounds like about 3/4 of a second, something like that. Great fun, lots and lots of kind of sci-fi effects, all sorts of things. And the cool thing is that you can plug something into the auxiliary input, which is really cool. Let's just set that up. So here's what I've done. I've taken the output of the Duo and I've plugged it into the auxiliary input of the Monotron Delay. And now I can play this through this. And that also means through the filter and through the delay. So now also the filter applies to the whole thing. So I'm effectively controlling the auxiliary input via these controls here. It's just a nice additional feature. I can process all sorts of stuff there because I actually really like the sound of the delay on this. It's kind of crusty and crunchy. One more quick thing to show. Get the screwdriver out. I can change the shape of the LFO wave from inverse ramp, down ramp, and if I go to square wave mode I can change the amount of gate that's open. So these two little fellas, great fun and a nice addition to the Monotron range. Obviously the original Monotron caused a massive stir. I mean, who's making analog gear out of any of the major manufacturers at this kind of price point, which was probably going to be around the same as the original pricing for the Monotron, perhaps a little bit more. We're waiting confirmation on that. Obviously the circuit benders are going to have a field day and I feel it's only fair that I should open one up and show you what the connections are and the possibilities on the circuit board. So let's take a look. Right, so this is the Monotron Duo. I'm not a circuit bender, so I can't say what all of these are. Looks like there's a gate point, VR1B, SAW 1, SAW 2, Pulse 1, Pulse 2, Square 1. So it looks like there is some scope for getting at the internals of this particular synthesizer. And here looking at the delay, it looks like there are points for pitch, gate, voltage bias, voltage control, something or other, ground, VCO, cutoff, and that's what's that, LFO. That seems to be about it. So once again, I am not a circuit bending guy. I mean, obviously voiding the warranty and all of those things. But the good thing is about this, as I've said before, Korg are actually making something analog and something you can tinker with. I can't think of any other mainstream manufacturers who are doing that. So well done, Korg. I'm sure we're going to see them in plenty of stockings around the world at Christmas time. And perhaps we'll even see them on stage sometime soon.